Strap in, the round-the-world adventure continues. In this episode, I'm flying SriLankan Airlines short-haul business class from Colombo to Kuala Lumpur. After a so-so long-haul leg, the question is, can they improve on a shorter route? With proper seats, full service and warm hospitality, could this actually beat European business class? From cabin comfort to in-flight dining and everything in between, let's see if this regional hop punches above its weight. Welcome to the channel. With over 20 years of business class flying and more than 1 million miles in the air, I've seen it all at 35,000 feet. Now I'm taking things to the next level, an unforgettable round-the-world journey in business class, from London, through Asia, across the Pacific and into the Americas. Join me each fortnight as I dive into every detail. The luxury, the letdowns and honest reviews of each flight experience. Love travel, aviation or just chasing the thrill of the skies? Hit that subscribe button and join me for the adventure of a lifetime. After a few days chasing elephants in the national park, it was time to leave Sri Lanka. My journey continued early in the morning at Colombo Airport, where SriLankan Airlines business class passengers can use a separate Silk Route entrance. This had private security and check-in desks. The checked baggage allowance was 40 kilograms, with any one item having maximum dimensions of 62 inches. That's the height plus width plus depth. With most airlines allowing 2 checked bags in business class weighing up to 32 kilograms each, this wasn't a particularly generous allowance. The bags were tagged as priority, which had no effect on arrival, with my cases being some of the last to arrive on the baggage belt. The Silk Route entrance was very quiet. The Silk Route itself was a boarded up back alley, which felt a bit like being brought into the terminal via a fire exit. SriLankan Airlines operates a twice daily service between Colombo and Kuala Lumpur. Checked in, our bags were then taken to the main check-in counters as we proceeded to immigration. Sometimes immigration checks are conducted in the Silk Route lounge, but not today. In any event, immigration was very swift, and I was through into the departure hall within minutes. Business class passengers were invited to use SriLankan Airlines Serum Dip Lounge. The lounge was also very quiet when I arrived. There was a QR code to access the Wi-Fi. A good range of cold and hot dishes were available for breakfast. I settled down with a cup of Ceylon tea and an omelette and chicken sausage. As dawn arrived, there were good views across the airfield. A member of staff called out my flight when it was time to head to the gate. From the lounge, it was a short walk across the escalators down to the gate, which was directly below the lounge. There was quite a long queue for security to get into the gate area. Although not that clear, there was a separate business class lane. Through security and into the gate lounge, business class passengers were instructed to take a seat, whilst economy passengers were boarding a bus to head to the aircraft. Once that bus had departed, a separate bus just for business class arrived. With just 4 business class passengers on today's flight, there was plenty of space on the bus. There were Australian flags all around the airfield ahead of a visit by their Governor-General. The business class bus arrived at the aircraft in about 2 minutes. The aircraft was an Airbus A321neo, registration 4 Romeo Alpha November Delta. It was 8 years old. Business class was situated at the front of the cabin, with 12 seats in a 2-2 configuration. The seats were spacious at 21 inches wide, with a cocktail table between the pairs of seats. This was a vast improvement of a European business class cabin with blocked middle seats and little legroom. There was a huge amount of legroom. The pitch was a whopping 45 inches. The only negative I could find about the seat was its recline, which on paper was only 5 inches. In front of the seat was an entertainment screen, below which was a small storage pocket. Under the armrest was a controller for the entertainment system. At floor level there was a power socket. Below the entertainment screen was a USB-A port. Soon pre-departure drinks were offered. There were various juices or water. Then a steaming hot towel was offered. Overhead were individual air vents and reading lights. The mobile staircase was moved away from the aircraft for an on-time departure as the safety video played.
Ayubowan and welcome to SriLankan Airlines.
We taxied from our remote stand to take off from runway 22. The aircraft arrived at the runway at 7:52 AM. As we take off, it's time to welcome the first members to the doors to automatic cabin crew. Just £4 per month gives you early access to reviews and other behind the scenes content. Head over to Patreon to join the crew. The flight routing was across the Bay of Bengal and the Andaman Sea, with a flight time to Kuala Lumpur of 3 hours 45. I checked out the entertainment system. Unlike my long-haul flight, there was a fair range of content. There were 96 movies, 205 TV episodes and 110 audio albums. There were also in-flight maps and flight timings. Good quality headphones were provided, alongside some stickers to indicate if you wanted to be woken. Announcements were made pre-departure about Wi-Fi being available. However, for the entire flight, no network appeared on my phone. Both the power socket and USB port worked. Orders for the meal service were taken prior to takeoff. There was a choice of 4 breakfast main courses. I opted for the cheese omelette. Only 2 omelettes had been loaded, as I overheard the couple behind me being told there were none left. The tray table folded out from beside the seat. It wasn't very clean, with a coffee stain in the middle. The breakfast was served on a tray. A linen napkin and metal cutlery were provided. There was a bowl of fresh fruit and a plain yoghurt with mango sauce. The cheese omelette came with chicken sausage, spinach and sautéed potatoes. It was nice and fresh. There was also a fresh croissant with jam. Accompanying the meal was a selection of Sri Lankan teas. These were served in a cup and saucer from a teapot. After the meal was cleared, bottles of water were handed out. There was one toilet for business class at the front of the cabin. There was so much legroom at the seat I didn't need my neighbour to stand for me to get out. The toilet was well maintained. Hand cream, mouthwash and fragrance were offered, but no premium soap. A baby changing table folded down from the wall. I booked my round-the-world ticket with the One World Alliance. The ticket included 9 flights departing from London, flying 28,000 miles and arriving back in London just over 3 weeks later. The business class ticket cost £7,985. Booking each flight separately could have cost as much as £14,185. So at just 28 pence per mile, I thought this was very reasonable for a premium ticket. Back in the cabin, it was time to edit one of my videos. Before checking out the sleep option, There was a decent quality pillow, but a fairly flimsy blanket. As the seat reclined, a footstool elevated. With limited recline, the seat wasn't too comfortable. Fortunately, it was a fairly short flight, and we were soon preparing to land. We came into land on runway 14 left and taxied to a gate at the satellite of Terminal 1. So what were my overall impressions of SriLankan Airlines short-haul business class? I think it was a vast improvement on the long-haul experience. The separate entrance and check-in at Colombo was nice. The overall airport experience was good. Having a dedicated business class bus to get to the aircraft made the remote stand more bearable. The cabin was in good condition. The seats were spacious with a very large amount of legroom. It's just a shame the seat recline was limited. The service was excellent, with 2 crew members looking after the 4 business class passengers. The meal was impressive by short-haul standards. The entertainment system worked well, with a fair range of content. However, the Wi-Fi wasn't functioning. Overall, as a short-haul business class product, this was very good. There's a lot European airlines could learn from this level of service, with a proper business class seat and an entertainment system on short haul. Next time, my trip continues through Asia as I travel to Hong Kong. I'll put Cathay Pacific's regional business class to the test. Will it live up to its top 3 status in the World Airline Awards, with the world's best in-flight entertainment system? Subscribe now so you don't miss out.